This is a Fox News alert. Actor Robin Williams found dead in California. Let's go to Fox's Trace Gallagher for the very latest. Trace?
Yeah, Greta, we're just getting information crossing right now. Robin Williams apparently was found this morning in Tiburon, California. That's his hometown. The 911 call came in around 11:55, just before noon, West Coast time, and apparently there was a male who was unconscious. Now, the sheriff's department says it appears the cause of death may have been asphyxiation. Of course, an autopsy has not been done yet. We are apparently just now getting a statement from the family, and the statement from the family does not confirm this was a possible suicide, Greta, but they do go in and say that he has been suffering severe depression in recent weeks. We're going to pull that statement up for you right now, but everybody knows, of course, Robin Williams, 63 years old, known, of course, for his primary role in the movies, the Mork and Mindy television show, rather, as well as Good Morning Vietnam in 1987, the Dead Poets Society. He won an Academy Award for Good Will Hunting as Best Supporting Actor. He was also nominated for 3 other Academy Awards. Here's the statement from his family. It says, quote, Robin Williams passed away this morning. He had been battling severe depression of late. This is a tragic and sudden loss. The family respectfully asks for their privacy as they grieve during this very difficult time. And again, it goes on to say, quoting here from Robin Williams' wife, this morning I lost my husband and my best friend. While the world lost one of its most beloved artists and beautiful human beings, I am utterly heartbroken. On behalf of Robin's family, we are asking for our privacy during our time of profound grief. As he is remembered, it is our hope the focus will not be on Robin's death, but on the countless moments of joy and laughter he gave to millions. And he did give joy and laughter to millions, Greta. Again, this happened just before noon West Coast time today, found inside his home in Tiburon, California, which is just across the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco. Robin Williams, a longtime resident of Tiburon. Again, asphyxiation is what the sheriff's department in Marin County believes the cause of death was. That has not yet been confirmed. Suicide is being speculated about. The family won't confirm that, but they are, of course, saying that in recent weeks he was suffering severe depression. We're working now to get more information about the death of Robin Williams at 63 years old. Greta.
You know, Tracy, I imagine as everyone's listening to this, I mean, everyone feels like he or she knows Robin Williams. We've been entertained for so many years, for decades, and Mrs. Doubtfire is another one that wasn't in the list, but which so many people loved. And yet, many people did know that he suffered from, he had a drinking problem or a drug problem. He'd gone into rehab. So it's deeply disconcerting to so many fans to see his face up there and to think that that we're not going to see any more of his new performances, at least. In terms of recently, do we know what he's been doing recently? Has he been on the road doing stand-up? Has he been doing movies? Has he been struggling with problems? What's he been doing lately?
We know, Greta, that he was working. Actually, you talked about Mrs. Doubtfire, one of his most beloved roles, and we know that he was working, or at least signed, to do a sequel to Mrs. Doubtfire, of course, starring in that role with Dustin Hoffman. That was where he, of course, played the woman trying to get back, or played a woman trying to get back his kids after a divorce, and he had apparently re-signed to play that again. Robin Williams, of course, was involved in another TV show. I forget the name of it, last fall. That show, I believe, was canceled at some point last year, but Robin Williams kind of getting back into television, which is where he started. And you go back and you remember that the Mork role began as a part-time role on Laverne and Shirley years and years ago, and then it spun off into its own television series. We are still waiting for comments from people who knew and loved him. The Twitter sphere, as you can imagine, is on fire now. Pam Dauber was his co-star in the Mork and Mindy show. She now lives in this area with her husband, Mark Harmon, but we are waiting for more comments to come out, because this is a shock to anyone who has ever been entertained and loved. And this was, you talked about the drug problems. It was the late 70s, Greta, the early 80s. He was addicted to cocaine. The death of a friend and the birth of a son prompted him to quit drugs, he said. And then back on August of 2006, Williams checked himself into rehab for alcoholism after 20 years of sobriety. And then he was hospitalized again back in 2009 due to heart problems. He had this great bond with the old comedian Jonathan Winters, Winters, and he said they shared the very same track. Jonathan Winters, well known for his bouts with depression over the years, and Robin Williams, as he was coming up into the entertainment world, struck up a kinship with Jonathan Winters and said they would actually spend hours and hours up in Jonathan Winters' attic, and they would pick up toys and they would do these impromptu ad-lib comedy skits. And Robin Williams says that's where he became great at just going on and on for hours and doing these different comedy routines. And of course, Robin Williams suffered very much the same track that Jonathan Winters did. Robin Williams, of course, rallied many times, made great movies, was a great contributor to the world of television. He was also a genuine human being. We lived in Tiburon when we first started working for Fox News Channel, Greta, many years ago, and you would run across him and others, and he was always very gracious to everybody who came across his path. I didn't know him, he didn't know me, but still a very gracious individual. And again, Robin Williams, we're being told, died of asphyxiation. Won't say suicide. The family says he was suffering depression, but the sheriff's office is saying that it appears to be a case of suicide at just before noon today here on the West Coast, Greta.
You know, Trace, when these people have entertained you so much and they made you laugh, I mean, he made all of us laugh. It's sort of hard to think of him as being a depressed guy, you know, in the sense that, you know, that it's so stunning and so almost more difficult to understand his death, assuming that it's by suicide. And certainly the indications are, at least from what we're hearing so far as suicide, is that, you know, he was so busy making all of us feel good, and at the same time, you know, he was feeling really bad. And you guys suppose that the drugs, the alcohol didn't help it, but you know, it's very difficult to look at this vibrant man on our screen right now, all this B-roll of him tape with he's smiling, he's laughing, making all of us laugh, and now suddenly we discover that you know, that he's dead. It's very, very difficult, isn't it?
It is, and you know, you go back to the show Inside the Actors Studio. I'm not sure if it's still on anymore, Greta, but Robin Williams was on there one time, and he was very open about his addictions and his depression, and the fact that, you know, that comedy sometimes comes out of severe depression, and sometimes he said, you know, you have to laugh just not to cry. So Robin Williams wasn't trying to hide the fact that, look, he grew up, he struggled with depression for years and years as a youth, said that he was often bullied as a child, but he overcame that because he could make people laugh. He could make his friends laugh. And because of that, he became who he is. But, you know, the drugs, and then you go off and you're sober for 20 years, and then something triggers it, and you get back in, and you're back drinking again, and you get back into rehab. And it's one of those things that says you can never, ever conquer. He was truly, you know, he was a pioneer in comedy because you could sit and watch him. And when Mork and Mindy first hit the air, the directors and the producers and a lot of the stuff that you saw that actually became part of the show was ad-lib. It was just Robin Williams going off. And that led him to have this phenomenal status as the king of the ad-lib, the king of a guy who could just do these improvised skits for hours on end, and would entertain his friends. And when he would go to these parties, which he shied away from, he would go in there and he would do these very